Welcome back, gamers, to episode 3 of my post for Saturday. So, we're going to play some Seven Nights this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about Castle Rush. Now, the very first video I ever uploaded on YouTube was a video that did not have any commentary. It was just me playing Castle Rush against Dellins, I believe it was. I'm not sure. It was either Dellins or Crest. I can't really remember. But this time I'm going to do it with commentary, and we're going to do something that's actually more of a challenge. What you saw me do in my very first video was super easy. So we're going to give you pretty much the worst case scenario, which is Rudy on normal mode. And see, when I last played, well, when I played the very first time, as far as on the video that I did, it was easy mode on either Dellins or Chris. So let's go ahead and show you something difficult. Now, this is going to be kind of a tutorial video too, because this is more for the sake of letting you know what characters you need to use. So I'll let you know kind of the basic heroes you want to use, and then we'll build a team based on who I'm fighting today. And actually, before we get to that, let me go to Guild War and collect our prize. Now, unfortunately, since I was sick, I didn't actually get to show you the last fights. We did end up winning the third fight match that we had, but we actually just lost our fourth match. So we're actually, or we just lost our very first match on round 4. So now we're currently 3-1. So I'm going to collect my prize. And remember, this is an off day, so today we can only manage our team. We can't actually, you can't actually fight this time. So this is the time that on your off day that you want to kind of look around and see who do I really want to use, you know, and it kind of goes from there. As a matter of fact, since I'm actually here, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna take out Zhu Liang because I was using him basically to do the anti-physicals against Gipperang and Chris, but I might just take him out. Or actually, no, I'm gonna leave him in. I'm gonna try Valikia in place of Yushin. Yushin's really good, don't get me wrong. He uses that one that's Daisy in the back corner all the time, typically in arena, but I'm gonna do something different. I want to keep Zhu Liang because he, of course, with my arrow here, he reduces the physical damage by 40%, 6 turns. Check out Valikia. Reduces magic damage seen by all allies by 50%. And it's not for any amount of turns, this is just there. So that's pretty strong. Now, her equipments are okay. She does have 2 Seven Knight items, 1 weapon, 1 armor, and then she has a crappy weapon and armor as her secondaries. She does have an accessory. She does have 2 jewels instead of 3, so she's not completely up there, but she is level 40. She is plus 5. So, as long as you're 40 plus 5 and you got, most of your equipment's on there, you're pretty much good to use them. At least, if you're trying to push. So I'm thinking about just putting her in and taking out my friend Yushin, who's really good, but we're just gonna try different things. I'm gonna put an all mage team together soon. That's gonna have Valikia, Yushin, probably Neza, maybe Daisy. I'm thinking potentially either Diachan or something, just to kind of try something different and new. But right now, I kind of want to test an idea before I do that. But now that I have Valikia at level 40, I'm going to be doing a lot of test plays here. So anyway, now you've actually got to see me make adjustments to Guild Tournament, or I'm sorry, Guild War. This is not Heroes Charge. Now we're actually going to do the point of the video, which is Castle Rush. Now, of course, in our chat, someone just said there's basically Nandeska says trying my best to get us at S rank for Castle Rush. Now, one thing that I may have mentioned before, one of the biggest complaints I have about this game is that there are a lot of censorships. If you look at the very bottom, you see Tryon and then 2 stars and then Y. So apparently, the G space M somehow is like a curse word. I don't know. I don't understand how that works, but this game has a lot of problems with censorship. They have cleaned up some things, but this is kind of an example of, an issue that I see that I really hope that this game fixes. A lot of the censorship I don't think it's necessary. At least for the American servers, I think you should really just, if you want to, censor, just censor regular English cuss words as opposed to whatever is actually being edited out. So, and as you can tell, this is pretty much how the guild chat actually looks. I have a timestamp to show like what time everybody said stuff, and you can only see so much. I think it stops at a certain point and you can't scroll anymore. So anyway, that's not what you're here to see. Let's do a Castle Rush video with commentary. Now we're currently A rank, and let me just send a quick message. I'm just gonna let them know that I'm actually working on Castle Rush. It's always good to communicate with your guild too, especially since I'm the guild leader. Yeah, Nendeska, he's going hard today. 1.8 million on normal mode, Rudy. Basically what he's doing is he's playing and he's spending more rubies to play again. And he keeps going and going and going until, he decides to stop. So you can do that, which is really cool. And I think I got a response. Okay, he's cool with that. And I only got an hour and 18 minutes left remaining. Now, this is not going to be a long video. Rudy's going to kill me, like, within less than 20 minutes. Probably less than that. Maybe less than 10. But anyway, so we're going to go to ready. In order to be S rank, you have to have at least 5 million damage dealt. Alright, so we're facing... Oh, I thought we were facing Dylan. I'm sorry, I thought we were facing Rudy. We were actually facing Spike. So this is not going to be as difficult as I thought. But I still promised to do something, so we're going to do... I actually thought this was Rudy, so this is actually going to be a bit easier. I mean, it's on normal mode, so it's still difficult, just not as bad. Okay, so as far as Castle Rush is concerned, here are my favorites. Shane, big time damage dealer, mainly because her cooldown is 36 seconds, which is typically shorter. She does 250% damage. That's all she does, and that's really good. And she also massively increases her crit rate, which basically always makes her do a lot more damage. She's just really good in Castle Rush and Raid, of course. Dylan, similar scenario. And I've actually shown Dylan's before, so you pretty much know he's also a beater. So I'm not going to completely explain him like that, because I've already completely explained him like twice. Alice, I personally like. No, not everybody's a fan of Alice, so this is just a matter of taste. But I think Alice is good more for her passive ability to increase damage. Ace is better, but if you feel like being lazy and putting it on auto, Alice is better because she doesn't have to use an active skill to boost damage, whereas Ace has to use one of his active skills. So if you're trying to be lazy, Alice is the way to go. If you're actually trying to skill everything yourself, go ahead and use Ace. And Ace is actually here. I now have him at level 36, which I should consider using him. Man, I gotta actually put better equipment on him. Look at that. That's horrible. Go to items. And as you can tell, he has Lord Chris's Greatsword, and he has a luxurious Death Shield. What I should do, and actually what I'm going to do, you want to do this, because I don't think I've ever showed people how to do this. So, you start off the game with 2 equipments, but if you want to unlock other equipments, what you do is you have to go back to your hero, not their items, just their basic profile, go to unlock. Now, the most efficient way to unlock is use Leia. She's actually specifically in this game to help unlock slots for your heroes to give them more equipment. You either use a Unlocker Leia that you can win for various awards, or you can use 86 star hero that you have. Now, I'm not getting rid of Sieg because I'm actually going to be using him soon in Raid. I actually just barely, I think I picked him in a selector recently just because I just got sick of having to use Charon, so I'm trying to use Sieg to replace him. But anyway, not getting rid of Sieg, and then I'll probably use Bei Long to unlock maybe something else too. Actually, how much gold do I have? Oh, you know what? I only have 44,000, a little over 44,000 gold, and it costs 150k. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to unlock right now, and I don't feel like doing the work right now to get up there, because that's going to take a while. But he's actually currently on my team. Didn't even realize that till now. So we're going to use him for a couple of reasons. One, his passive ability. I don't think I've actually shown him off, so we're going to show him off right now. increases all damage inflicted on enemies by 50%. Fantastic. And decreases damage by 50%, which is great. That means we're going to survive longer. If the damage received is higher than the current HP, survives with 1 HP. So it just means he stays alive longer. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, he doesn't have any of the great accessories that he should. Actually, I am going to give him a blue jewel. It's going to increase his defense by 40, and block rate's going to be up by 20%. So we're going to go ahead and equip that since he doesn't have anything right now. And I try to just equip 6-star jewels if I can. I get jewels basically by participating in events and stuff. The game is really generous about giving you stuff, and I don't have any extra accessories. And unfortunately, I can't unlock anything because I don't have the gold, so I'm going to have to grind for gold soon. I've actually been doing a lot of powering up and getting more heroes, here and there, to level 40, so it costs a lot of gold to do that. I had millions of gold recently. I just spent a bunch of it, like, in the past 2 days. Since I've been feeling better now, for those who don't know, I was sick. Now that I'm feeling better, I've actually been grinding a lot. So, grinding, getting things done, good stuff. So, Ace is going to be in our team. Actually, no, because we're not facing Rudy today. So, we're actually going to take Ace out this time. I just remember. We're going to replace him with Lena. Are we going to replace him with Lena? No, we're not. Actually, we're gonna use someone else. Let me see what we have available. Okay, so against Spike, you either use Spike himself, which I am gonna use. When the only reason you use him is because basically he protects from all debuffs for 2 turns. So I'm gonna use Spike in my team. I'm actually gonna take out Ace. He's gonna protect us from being frozen for a little while, and then if you don't have Spike, there is someone better that you should use. I just don't currently have her because I haven't gotten her as a 6-star, and I don't feel like picking her as a 6-star selector. I just don't think it's worth it. If I ever accidentally get her as a 6-star, then I'll start using her. Or if I accidentally get her as a 5-star, I'll start using her. But I think her name is actually, I'll just find her real quick so you can see her. I don't want to leave you asking, what was I supposed to do? You weren't helpful. So let's go to the Codex, and I'll show you who you should use. And I'm in the wrong area. Asgard. She's in the frozen land. I think I've shown her off once before. But you want her. You want Lania. She's universal, so, like I said in my previous videos, you're going to be using your universal elements for 7 Knights, 4 Lore, stuff like that for the most part. So Lania is pretty much on the bottom of the total pool of heroes that you want to get, but she's only good really for Castle Rush against Spike. And why she's better than Spike as far as in Castle Rush is she protects all allies from being frozen for 6 turns. So if I actually wanted to actually last longer and continue to do more damage, I would need to get her. She's the best one to get for this scenario. I just haven't been lucky enough to get her as a 5 or 6-star without putting in work, and I'm not putting in work for her. Alright, so let's do some Castle Rush, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's select our team. So we're at 88%. We're at 4.7 million in total because other people have been doing some damage. Thank you, Nendeska, for putting in some work. I really appreciate that. It's always good to, overgo. You could have just fought one time and been fine. I'd have been okay with it. But if you spend rubies, you can deal more damage. Just helps out the guild overall, because the more points you get, not only do you get better ranks, but it gives you more, guild resources to upgrade your castle or your guild in general. So we are facing against Spike, and typically by looking at your friendly 7-9 that you have on the top, the one that says trial, that's typically who you're fighting for the day. So remember, this is our team. We're going to use Spike to protect from frozen for 2 turns instead of 6. We're going to use Alice as a way to just, get us more damage without having to really activate a skill. So just, the extra damage bonus is going to be good. And she's level 40, and she has all of her equipments, unlike Ace, so I need to work on him. I didn't even think of that. We're going to use Rachel because she's absolutely the best person, the number one person you need the most for Castle Rush, no matter who you're fighting. Increase the counter rate of all odds by 50%, which is okay. Rise with 100% HP for 3 turns. That's okay, but that's not why you use her. You use her for this. Okay, so 200 damage physical on 3 enemies. It decreases the enemy's damage and defense by 80% for 2 turns. this is where all the damage dealing is going to be done. Is that ability, and then your guys are going to be spamming active skills, and it also can burn the enemy, but you can't inflict burn on the Seven Eyes on Castle Rush. So that's not important. And I do have that outfit for right now. The Phoenix Incarnate Rachel's outfit. I forgot what the outfit's called, but it's not important. And actually, I don't even have her equipped really well either, which is sad. I talk about how much you should use her, and I don't even have her equipped fully. She has two weapons: one dragon sword, which is great, and then one regular weapon, which is not so great, and one crappy defensive item, which is no good. And then I need to unlock the last slot and give her something good and get her more jewels and whatnot. But that's no big deal. But basically, the point is you want to use her at the very least. We're going to use Shane and Dellins, and that's pretty much going to be the team here. Now, we'll go ahead and look at what's recommended because the thing about this game is it holds your hand to some degree, and I'm okay with that in the MMOs. So if you go to where it says strategy guide, it will tell you who you should use. So today is Saturday, so we're going to look at Spike. It tells you that his damage attributes is basically physical damage, single attack, and basically attacks 5 people as well. He does freeze. That's the clue where you need to find people who protect against freeze. The attack strategy is basically be immune to freeze and decrease damage. Decreasing damage is always like really the priority, and then being immune to whatever they do. One counter spikes freeze debuffs with a freeze debuff immunity. Okay, skills. That's pretty much what I just said. Their recommendation is that you want one hero to deal major damage, like Shane, who I have. Now, this is just a generic Shane. Or Jupi. She's also really good at dealing good damage. She's also good in the raid as well, if you want a second person to deal damage. Heroes that decrease damage received from the enemy. They recommend Rachel, who I say you should use. They also recommend Sylvia. I honestly don't recommend her. I'm not really that big. I'm not much of a fan of her. I don't think she's that good. Now, of course, for the immunity, so heroes that are immune to freeze, Lania is the best. So I should have just went here instead of going all the way back to the Codex. What a waste. Anyway, you should use her, absolutely. And if you don't have her, like me, just use Spike. He's not as good, but he's good enough for what I'm doing. And then as far as offensive, just for the sake of beating people down, you can pick Eileen, because she's a beater, and her passive ability increases the physical attack of all allies by 60%. So if all your people are physical, you're going to do more damage. Or you can pick Victoria, which I do not recommend, but basically she's there to use her skill that increases the physical magic attack of all enemies by 50% for 2 turns. If we're going to go that route, you might as well pick the healing version, which is Lena. So, but it says offensive, so I see what they're trying to say. And then heroes that increase the enemy's received damage, you either want Ace or you want Alice. Now, of course, some of these are alternate costumes that I am not using. So there you go. So I'm mostly using this. I do have Shane, I do have Rachel, I do have Spike. I'm not using Eileen because I'm using Dellins instead, just because he's level 40. And then I'm using Alice because she's level 40. Alright, so, okay, I know you're like, it's almost 20 minutes and all you've done is talk. Alright, so, enough talk. Fight time. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Oh, and I'm going to pick a hero to use. My number one pick is Jam. As a matter of fact, this person named Zinfan, the only reason he's on my friends list is because he has a level 40 Jam. He hasn't logged in like 2 weeks, or almost 2 weeks. So typically I would boot him because I'm not getting much honor, but that's not really that big a deal. I got almost 100 friends on my list anyway. I don't really care. So as long as that Jam is there and no one else in my friends list gets a level 40 Jam, he's staying in my friends list. So if you don't have anyone that has a level 40 Jam, the next best person to use as backup, in my opinion, is going to be Shane. You could do Dellins. You could do Jupi, which I don't see yet, or you can do Bai Long. He's really, really good as well as a beater in Castle Rush, as, you know, a side person. But right now, Jam's my absolute favorite. I'm absolutely in love with her. Oh, we're gonna have 1,000 babies. Yes, 1,000. I got a little work to do. Anyway, let's get this started. And if you don't know Jam's story, I believe she's a chef in the Guilty Gear game. I'm not sure where I want to put my head, to be honest. Here we go. Okay, we don't need to see Spike's head. You can see my head on the top left and side. Well, no, I want you to see how much damage I deal, so we'll do that. Alright, so I'm going to turn the auto skill off. Typically, I do a single attack target on the beginning. And then on the second one, I do an AoE to clean out the second group. Donald's usually pretty good about doing that. I typically use Shame, but I honestly wasn't ready because I was distracted. When you get to the third group, very first thing you do is Rachel's ability to lower everybody's, defense and damage dealt significantly. And keep in mind, this is normal mode, not easy mode. Which means that he's just going to be killing me faster. That's pretty much all that it means. And they don't die as easy. Alright, so I didn't kill him in one hit, which is weird. Normally I do kill him in one hit. So we're just going to use a single target to continue to deal him damage. His freezing is not going to work. And I guess I'll use Dallins to finish them off. We'll finish off the second little guy. Okay, so from this point on, it's going to be basically me doing single target attacks to deal the maximum amount of damage possible. So we're going to do Shane, and then Dellins, and then Rachel, and Shane. We're going to kind of keep going on and on. Whenever Rachel's damage reduction against, basically the skill I told you about that you need, is cooled down, definitely want to reactivate it. See, it just went to nothing, so I can redo the skill again, and then go back to single target attacking. So once that's done, I'm going to use Rachel's single attack target, and then I'm going to do Shane's, I'm going to do Dell, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to be spamming the same moves over and over. That's pretty much the plan here. Just keep on spamming. Now some people fight on auto, and that's fine too. I'm actually going to use Spike's single target attacks. Basically, you want single target attacks and when you're doing this, just because they usually deal more damage. Alright, there we go. So right now I'm using the Frozen, so he's still not going to do much. There goes Downs, dealing tons of damage. And then next is going to be Shane, and then I'm going to use Rachel to continue the debuff. So there's Shane doing her damage. As you can tell, I'm actually not doing a whole lot of damage. Typically I do thousands of damage at a time, but I'm only dealing hundreds because it's normal mode. And that's with his stats reduced. So that's the difference between normal mode and easy mode for sure. Some more single target attacks. Rachel is starting to get low in health, but I'm not too worried about that. Because if she dies, she gets resurrected stronger, so I'm okay with that. Let's see what he does. He freezes. Yep. So now I'm going to use Alice to unfreeze him so that I can use his skills. So there we go. Boom. Now I can use Dallins again. Unfortunately, now he's probably going to freeze everybody. No, he doesn't. He freezes everyone except Shane. And of course, the other Spike wakes up. Now Alice wakes up. In all reality, I should have actually just waited. But oh well. Yeah, I really messed that up. Alright, so I'm going to use Rachel to debuff him because his debuff is gone. And we're going to tend to do single attacks. Now she's doing a lot more damage because she's in like Phoenix mode, so yeah, expect that. Alright, here we go. Now we're going to turn this off from Shane. Now here comes Big Mama. Get in there, girl. So with Jam, you're going to use the top ability. Oh, hopefully he doesn't freeze her. Don't you freeze her. Good. So use the top ability. What's going to happen is she's going to deal some damage, and then her magic damage increases. And of course, as you can tell, it has a long counter. Do her other single attack target, deals tons of damage. Now, granted, this is normal mode, so it's not going to deal as much damage as it should, but as you can tell, this is what you do. Now that people that are dead, what I want to do at this point is resurrect with Alice. So this is going to keep people alive longer. So I got Delon's back, so now Delon's is going to do a single attack target. Active skill. And after that's done, we're going to do some healing. Alright. Actually, we didn't really need the healing, but oh well. I probably should have just waited for him to free somebody. Now here we go with Jam. And we're going to go with Delon's AoE ability. So now he's going to freeze everybody, which is going to suck. Alright, so there goes Delon's again. He was just an auto-res for a certain amount of turns, because that's pretty much what he does. Or what she does. When Alice resurrects, she gives him the invincibility with a boost of damage. And there you go, that's pretty much it. So we pretty much just died, but we did a little over 200k. Now, if this was on easy mode, I probably would have dealt like maybe 2 million instead. I mean, basically, I deal about 10 times less damage when I'm on normal mode. And I did that a little sloppy, but this was more of a tutorial to give you an idea of what you can do. If you don't have or use Alice, you can use Ace. If you don't have either one and you still want to increase some damage, you can do Lena because she heals and she increases, offense. Can use Victoria, but I don't really use her in this scenario unless I'm against a specific person. But yeah, I mean that's basically how the Castle Rush works. And those are some, like I said, good recommendations. And I got me a little reward, yay! And more rewards because I got a weekly one. Look at that! As you can tell, this game is very generous, and I'm at the 64,000 gold. Slowly but surely, I'll have enough to unlock some items for other people. But that's going to be the video for today. Actually, let me show you now. Now that I've done Castle Rush, basically in my one attack, I am ranked number 6 in damage right now, and we are less than 100,000 away. Actually, we're about less than 20,000 away from getting S rank. So what I'm going to do off screen is I'm going to go ahead and fight it again, and then we'll be at S rank. And the next time I see you guys, I'll think of a different subject to talk about. What I might do for Sunday is I'll probably load another Guild War fight. Now, because I'm working, I might not be doing videos every day, but I'm going to try to keep up with Hearthstone at least every other day, maybe every day, and I'm going to try to do 7 nights every other day. And in Heroes Charge, I'm probably going to do twice a week. So we'll see how that works out. So bear with me. I'll try to keep the videos coming as much as I can. But yeah, that's going to be your tutorial on Castle Rush. What I'll probably do in the future is I might do a Castle Rush for each 7 night, because that one was spiked, but there's obviously 7 of them. So if you want to have good ideas and you don't want to read a strategy guide, you'd rather just hear me talk, and I'm okay with that. I'll probably post some videos in the future about how to do each individual Castle Rush hero. So you guys take it easy.